Welcome back, America. It's Wednesday. That means the Yinzer Report. Salena Zito is with me. Hello, Salena. How are you?
Hello, Sunshine. How are you?
I am great. I want to know, just a very open field question. What do you make of the first 10 days of the golden age of America under Donald Trump?
Well, I think that maybe it was the best thing that ever happened for the country and also Trump that he lost in 2020 because it has given him a perspective and a purpose to do it the way he understands it can be done. And and I think we're seeing the benefit of that. You know, oftentimes think about your personal life, think about your professional life, the things that have set you back, the things you have not gotten, right? Usually those are the things where you have you learn the biggest lesson from. And I think sometimes losing makes you better at what you do. And I think that this is the case. And also, it makes you realize, I think the past 4 years have been very instructive for the American people to understand why far leftism doesn't work in governing. You know, Republicans can say it over and over again, but the proof now has been in the pudding. You have 4 years to look back on and say, look, we were right. It doesn't work. The proof is right there. We have the
Salena,
evidence in the fentanyl.
I don't think
Yeah.
you meant it, but when you said losing makes you better, you really hurt
Uh-huh.
every Cleveland Browns fan out there, because that's not true.
Well, it's not been the case for the past, I don't know, 18 seasons for the Steelers either. So,
Or the Pirates. Okay.
or
Let me ask
or
you
the
about
Pirates.
Let me ask you about the deportations. We have
Yeah.
elite media that are wringing their hands. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody who's opposed to deporting people who have committed a crime and have gone through the process and have a deportation order against them. Do you?
No, I mean, all you have to do is listen to what the mayor of Detroit said. Of course, we want to be a welcoming city. However, we do not want to be a welcoming city to illegal people that are here illegally, in particular, the people that are here illegally that commit crimes. You saw this the same with John Fetterman. He has said that over and over again. He's told me we have basically brought in the population of the city of Pittsburgh illegally into the country, and how do we have the services to sustain that? He said we don't. And you don't want the criminal element in. Obviously, you don't want the criminal element if they came from Mars.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about Mars. They might have that Mars. Remember Mars invasion with the death ray and the little green men? They would Mars
Yeah, I didn't
attacks.
like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I
Let
don't
me
like.
ask you about Tony Dungy. The word is out today
Oh,
that the native of Jackson, Michigan, that state up north, is thinking about running for the open Senate seat. Tony Dungy is a very outspoken evangelical Christian. Of course, he's a black man.
yep.
He did play for the Steelers. We got that. There's a dark mark there. But what do you think about Tony Dungy running for Senate?
He is one of my favorite people in terms of following on Twitter. He's very aspirational. He is very thoughtful. He certainly has experiences highs and lows, and those are the kinds of people you want in governing. They know how to manage right situations, good things and bad things. He's done that in his personal life and in his career. I can't see why that would be a bad idea.
I think it would be a one. Now he's 70 years old, and that's like being like a rookie in the Senate sometimes. But if you go for one term, maybe even two to 82, it would be fabulous. And I think he would have a cross the aisle appeal in that state up north. You go there a lot more than I do. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he would definitely have appeal. I think he would be a great candidate. I think, who else I think would be a great candidate up there? John James. He's in Congress right now. There's all, people think the bench isn't all that good for the Republicans. I would argue you just don't know what the bench is because there's a lot of really innovative, interesting, outside the the norms, that are that want to run and want to do service for their state or for their country. And I think if anything if we've learned anything from 2024, and there's a lot of evidence that a lot of reporters and Democrats haven't, and sometimes Republicans too, is that anything can happen, and people are willing. Like, the coalition is so broadly changed within the Republican Party, and I oftentimes don't think that Republicans understand that, as not elected Republicans, and I think there's room for lots of different people to run.
Quick exit question, Salena. You know Margaret Brennan. I know Margaret Brennan a little bit. You've been on Face the Nation. I've been on Face the Nation. She's been a guest on this show. How many times is she going to step on the rake with J.D. Vance? I mean, she did it again this weekend, and J.D. just owned her. He doesn't want to, but when she says something like, Alabama and Kentucky are poor and dumb, that's a paraphrase, J.D.'s not having it. What do you think? Is she going to learn?
Clearly, no. That was very disappointing. Not only did she mention states below the Mason-Dixon line as though they are less intelligent and capable, she said it was dripping with disdain. Like, you can't even pretend that it wasn't. And the way she said Kentucky, like, are you serious? I mean, you're going to talk about a state with that much disdain? Look, anybody that's covered any natural disaster knows that these state governments have these core staging operations. They have multiple resources at their hands, and they're the first one on the job the state officials. And I have seen that firsthand in numerous flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes. Those are the people on the ground that are there, and they're ready.
They're there first, and Team Rubicon is second. When FEMA shows up, not always the greatest addition to the team. Sometimes good, not always great. Salena Zito can be found at salenazito.com, and you can follow her on X at Zito Salena, columnist for the Washington Examiner, and everywhere else that you look. Thank you, Salena. I'll be right back, America.
Thank you.